Hello friends, welcome back to Code Explorer. Here I am Pabitra Banerjee with you, and you are watching this video as a part of our mastering DSA using Python playlist, and this is going to be our fifth video where we are going to discuss about data types in Python. So before we start, let me tell you that if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, then please subscribe this, and if you have not followed this playlist yet, then also follow this playlist, and you can also bookmark this playlist. And if you really love this playlist and this helps you to learn about Python and DSA, then please like this playlist, like this the video, and you can also share this with your friends that they can also get benefit of this playlist as well. Okay, now I want to tell you that I have created this mastering DSA using Python GitHub repository for you guys, where you will get all the code I will write for this playlist. Okay, I will share this link in the description box. From there you can directly check the file name and you can directly go get all the code I will write there inside this playlist. Okay, now I want to tell you that I have created this explorecode.live website, which is the official website of our Code Explorer, and here I have created a page sections, and then there you will get about DSA in Python. Just simply click on this, and there you will get all the content, all the study materials I will share with you. Here I have already created the introduction to Python videos content, and I will also share about all the content, all the study materials with you in this website, so you can also follow this website to never miss anything and to get all the study materials. Okay, so now let's start our video. Today's topic is data types in Python. Okay, so now here you can see that Python built-in core data types. Before starting, I want to tell you that there are basically two major types of data types in Python. One is built-in data types and another one is user-defined data types. So what is built-in data types mean? Built-in data types mean these are the data types which are basically already built inside the Python programming language itself. We can directly use them. Okay, and what does user defined data types means? That means using these built-in data types we can create our very own and new data type as well in Python. Okay, so that is basically user defined data types. To create a user defined data types, first we have to gain a solid understanding of these built-in data types. So now, for now, we are just only going to learn about these built-in data types. Okay, so now you can read from there that Python offers following built-in code data types. Basically Python offers us five major built-in data types. One is numbers, second string, third list, fourth tuple, fifth dictionary. Okay, so here you can see that the number is getting breaks into three parts. One is integers, another one is floating point numbers, and another one is complex numbers. And the integers is also getting two part. One is signed integers and another one is boolean. Okay, so now we are going to start from integers. So integers are whole numbers. They have no fractional parts. Integers can be positive or negative. There are two types of integers in Python. Integers, signed integers. It is normal parameter, normal integer representation of whole numbers using the digits 0 to 9, which are our decimal number system. Okay, Python provides single int data type to store any integer, whether big or small. It is signed representation. It can be positive or negative. Okay, and then we have another special types of integers, which is boolean. These represent the truth values, true and false. It is a subtype of integers, and boolean values true and false corresponds to values 1 and 0 respectively. If you have already some knowledge about C or C++ or Java, then I think you have already got the values of like 0 and 1. Okay, there you know that 0 represents false and 1 represents true. And inside our this playlist I have already covered the about the operators in Python, about the very common usable operators. There we have discussed about relational operators, membership operators, identity operators. Basically there are too many types of data operators in Python, and some of they returns us the boolean values of some operands. Okay, so what does this means? We are going to how we can create integers, how we can create boolean. We are going to check about them, and we are going to learn about them in our VS code. Okay, here I have already created this datatype.py file, and now I am going to write about integers. Okay, so let me create a variable first for that. So let's suppose a is the name of the variable, and it's assigned, let's assign 10 to this variable. Okay, now I am going to print the value of a, and with it I am going to print the type of this operator, the type of this variable. Okay, now let's run this file first, then I will tell you that what does this type operator type function do. So here you can see that 10 is the value of this a operator variable, which is been printed successfully on our terminal, and there you can see that class is int, class int. What does this means? Basically the type function in Python returns us the data type of any variable. Okay, so here 10 is integer data type, so that's why it's returning us the class of this variable a is int, which is integer. Okay, now we have already learned about boolean. So boolean, let's create a variable b called, which let's assign it value true to it, and let us print the value of this variable and its type. So now let's run this code, and there you can see that true, what is the value of this variable b has been printed, and the variable is a bool bool data type. Boolean is a special type of variable, a special type of integer variable, integer data type. Okay, as I have already discussed about that. Now come to our next topic, and before that I am going to say you that I have already written some code here. You can read this code as well, and you can call, just simply you can copy this code, and then you can run this code in your terminal as well to see that if you are getting this output or not. Okay, now move to our second part, which is floating point numbers. A number having fractional part is a floating point number. It has a decimal point. It is written into two forms. One is fractional form, the normal decimal notation. We can use a decimal value here, and another one is exponential notation. It has the mantissa and exponent. Okay, then we are going to read about advantages and disadvantages of floating point numbers. Basically the advantage is that they can represent values between the integers, and they can represent a much greater range of values. Okay, and the disadvantage of floating point numbers is that these operations are usually slower than integer operations. Okay, so now move to our VS code to learn about floating point numbers. So floating point numbers. Okay, let me create another variable called c, and let me assign the value of c is 2.99 e to the 8. Okay, which is the values of c, that means the speed of light basically. And let me create another variable called d, and let me give it the value of 3.14, which is the value of pi. Now I am going to print the value of c and its type, and going to print the value of d and its type. Now we are going to run this code, and then you can see that we are getting these, and the data type is float for c and d respectively. Okay, now come to our next part, which is complex numbers. Python represents complex numbers in the form of a plus bj. If you have already comes from a science background, then I think you have already learned about complex numbers in your mathematics syllabus in class 11 or 12. So Python represents the complex numbers as the same. So now let's move to our VS code to learn that. so that is complex number. Okay, so let me create a variable called e and give it a value of 9 plus 8j, let's suppose. Okay, now I am going to print this variable e and its type. Now run this code. There you can see that the value of e has been come and the data type is complex. Okay, this is also a numbers data type. Okay, now let's move to our next topic, which is strings. A string is a group of valid characters enclosed in single or double quotation marks. A string can group any type of known characters, its letters, numbers, and special characters as well. A Python string is a sequence of characters and each character can be accessed by its index, either by forward indexing or backward indexing. For example, I have created this uh, we have created this sub variable which holds the value computer, and here you can see that C is the first element of this string and the indexing starts from 0 here. O is the second in number of element and 1 is its index. That means the indexing starts from 0 in forward indexing. You have to just keep in mind this. And in the case of backward indexing, you can see that r is the last element of our string and the indexing starts from -1 for backward indexing. Okay, so now let's move to our VS Code to learn that. So strings, and let me create a variable called f which is containing, let's suppose, all the alphabets. Okay, now first I am going to just print this value of f and its type. Now run this code. There you can see that the value of f has been printed and it is an str data type, which is string data types basically. Now how we can access the elements and using its index. So for doing that we just need to write the print function and we need to write the name of the variable and its indexing we are going to check. So let's suppose I am going to check the sixth element of the string. Okay, that means I need to give these indexing 5 to check the sixth element, to get the sixth element. Okay, now let's run this code. Here you can see that f has been printed. That means a b c d e f. F is the sixth element and the indexing of the sixth element f is 5 because the indexing starts from 0. And what if that we want this z? Okay, for doing that we just need to use the backward indexing. So just simply -1. Sorry, I have used wrong. I have to use -1 here, right? Now let's run this code and we are getting z because z is the last element of this string, right? I think it makes sense. We will discuss about all of them in later when we are going to we'll learn about all of them separately one by one. So don't interfere that I am not discussing all of them in details for now. For now I am just trying to give you a brief overview of data types in Python. Okay, we will learn about all of the data types in details in this playlist. Now comes to our next data type, which is list. The list is a Python's compound data type. A list in Python represents a list of comma separated values of any data type between square brackets. And one main thing, lists are mutable. What does mutable means? Mutable means that the value of any element of a list can be changed later. Okay, so let's create a list and let's run that how we can execute that. So list let's suppose fg, and we are going to create a list. Okay, I have created a list of the integers number from 1 to 8. Now I am going to print the list and its type. Here you can see that the list has been printed successfully and its class is list. Okay, how we can access any value from the list? Here also comes the same using the indexing, and here the indexing also starts from 0. So I am going to print the sixth element, which is 6. So we have to pass its indexing, which forward indexing, which is 5. So here we get 6. And to get the last element of this string, we have to just simply print -1. Okay, let's suppose we are going to print this 7. Okay, so it's the second last element, so -2 for that. Okay, so now let's run this code. Here you can see that 7 has been printed for this -2 indexing. Okay, because 7 is the second last element of this string, of this list, right? I think it makes sense. Now we are going to discuss about tuples. The tuple is the Python's compound data type. A tuple in Python represents the list of comma separated values of any data type within parentheses, basically our round brackets. And one thing, that tuples are immutable. This is the major difference of lists and tuple, that lists are mutable and tuples are immutable. Immutable means that we cannot change any value of any element of a tuple. Okay, let's try to create a tuple first. So tuple, so let's suppose the name of the variable is h, and we have to create a tuple using these rounded brackets. Okay, so we have created a tuple of these integers from 1 to 8. Now we are going to simply print the h variable and its type. So here you can see that the tuple has been printed and the class of this variable h is tuple. Okay, now how we can access the values of a tuple? We can access them by using its indexing. So print h5, which will represent this sixth element, because the forward indexing starts from 0, that's why. And to get this third last, we can also use h, and to get the third last element we have to use -3. For this case both of them will represent 6, right? Here you can see. I think you have got that what I am trying to say you. Okay, now comes to our the last major data types of Python, which is dictionary. Dictionaries are unordered collection of elements in curly braces in the main form of a key and a value pairs that associate keys to values. Dictionaries are mutable, that means we can change any value of element later when we need that. As dictionary element does not have index value, the elements are accessed through the keys defined in the key or value pairs. Okay, so let's learn how we can declare a dictionary in Python. Dictionary, let's suppose I am going to create a variable called I, and here I am going to create key value pair called A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, T is 4, F is 6, G is 7, H is 8, I is 9, and J is 10. Okay, let's suppose we have created this dictionary. Okay, so now let's check that how this will be printed in using Python. So print this I and the type of I as well. Now let's run this code. There you can see that the dictionary has been printed and the class is dict, which denotes the dictionary. Okay, now let's see that how we can do that. As I have already mentioned you that Python is an unordered data type. That means we can't access the value of any dictionary element using its indexing, because there are no indexing basically, because it is an unordered data type. Okay, so how we can access a value of a member inside this dictionary? We can use that. For that reason we have to use this key. So let's suppose I am trying to get that what is the value of e. So for that case I have to just pass this e, and it will, sorry, I was just going to make a silly mistake. Okay, now let's run this code. Here you can see that it's 5 because e denotes to 5. That means e is the key and 5 is its value. That means when we are inserting this key we are getting the value. Okay, I think it makes sense. There I have written everything you need. I have created something examples. Okay, you can check them, you can also run them in your own machine. So that's it for today. We are going to discuss about a lots of data types when we will learn a lots of more advanced Python programming, and then we are going to move about to data structures and algorithms in Python. So if you have not subscribed this channel yet, then please subscribe this, and please leave a beautiful comment if this helps you to understand the basic data types in Python, and please share this video to your friends that they can also get the benefit from these videos as well. So that's it for today. I will see you in the next video. Till then, stay safe, keep learning, and happy coding.